Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the LTT Podcast. My name is Brendan Plays. This week on the podcast today, we're going to talk about Goldberg potentially coming back to WWE for Survivor Series. We're going to talk more about the WWE and TNA situation, some new signings, some people getting released, also the Royal Rumble coming up, some new details about that, and also we're going to preview the upcoming No Mercy pay-per-view, plus we're going to give our thoughts on all the latest to do with Raw and SmackDown, and also chat a little bit about WWE 2K17, which is coming out next week, and a few of my plans for WWE 2K17. And we're going to also answer your questions, which of course you can leave a question for next week's show by heading over to the YouTube comment section of this video and leaving your question in the comment section. You can also head over to the forums at brendanplays.com/forums. You can sign up for free and chat about wrestling over there. But you can also leave a question there by heading to our official thread there and leave your question there. Also, when I do remember, I actually did remember this week. Got to shout out Thomas Bella. He keeps on reminding me. He reminded me again this week. He reminded me for the Facebook questions. I got to really drill into my mind. I got to write it down, just kind of have a note somewhere to remind me. I used to, but I got rid of it, so I got to put that back up. But you can also leave a question for the show on our official Facebook page, which is Brendan Plays Official. Type into the search engine, and you should find it. Links are in the description down below as well. Alright, so this coming week is going to be crazy. I'm probably going to say right now that there may not be a show next week. I'm not going to 100% confirm it. Keep an eye on my Twitter and my Facebook page next week for the official announcement, but I will probably say right now that next week there probably won't be a show because WWE 2K17 is going to be out, and I'm going to be spending so much time playing the new game, uploading new videos in the new game, that if I did a podcast, it would get lost. It would get lost in the shuffle, and I probably wouldn't put my full 110% energy into it because I'm going to be so busy with that. We'll see how we go. We never know, but unless something major breaks, unless something huge happens at No Mercy or something like that, I'm probably not going to do a show next week. But there will be a show the week after that when things start to die down a little bit with the new game, because next week it's going to be, crazy. It's going to be chaotic. It's just going to be a lot of work. I've got an all-nighter planned for next week, next Tuesday when I get the game, so I'll get it at midnight. And I'm going to just play and play and play until I can't play anymore and do as many videos as I can on that first day. I'm going to upload videos on my second channel as well of just, dream matches and certain match types that people might want to see and some entrances and things like that. And I'm going to obviously upload a new Universe Mode series day one. Probably 1, 2, maybe even 3, 4. I don't know. A lot of career mode. I'm going to upload a hell of a lot of career mode first day. And then, I'm just going to spam you guys. Let's be honest. I'm going to spam your sub box. I'm telling you guys right now, it ain't going to be pretty. But I'm going to really work hard in the first week and get as much content as I can out. And obviously, as you know, I'm going to be consistent from then on. You guys know that every week you can expect a few videos from me, whether it be Universe Mode or a Career Mode or whatever. You guys know to expect that from me, and that's what you're going to continue to expect from me this year. Nothing's going to change. I'm going to keep on. I think, if anything, the first couple months, I'm going to put a lot more content out than I normally would. Last few months, last few games, I should say, the first couple months, I'm trying my best, but obviously I had computer issues, internet issues. Now, none of that is, relevant. I've got a great computer, and I've got great internet now, so everything can go up much quicker. You're going to get a lot of content very, very soon. So next week's going to be great. I am kind of looking forward to it, but I'm also kind of dreading it at the same time because the reason that I'm kind of dreading it is because I also have assignments I have to do for university. I've got one due the day before the game comes out, and I think I have a couple more due the next couple of weeks. So whilst it's all well and good that I can really spend so much time playing 2K17, I've got other things I got to try and do in the back of my mind, which is always the issue at this time of the year, which always has been the issue when the game has come out in previous years, because I normally have university work to do, and uni takes up so much time and kind of stresses you out a little bit when you want to try and get the videos out as much as you can. You got other stuff you got to do at the same time, so that's the issue that I currently am facing. But I think I'm going to be okay, at least for the first week. I can really give it my all, and maybe even get a lot more stored up and backed up, so the next couple of weeks after that I'm not so chaotic. It's not so chaotic. I have a lot of content stored up and ready to go for you guys. Certainly with career mode videos are so easy to do. Like I could make 100 of them. Not really, but I could make good at least 5 a day if I really wanted to, and store that up. So I think we should be pretty good. But yeah, next week's going to be really crazy, so I'm probably going to say there won't be a show next week, so I do apologize for that. But I think a lot of you guys will be playing the new game anyway, so you will probably want to do that, and a lot of my new content as well. I'm sure you'd much rather probably see some WWE 2K17 footage rather than listen to me yak on about whatever. But that's going to be really, really fun. Also been playing some Modern Warfare Remastered. We'll talk more about that later, but that's been a lot of fun. Other than that, not really much going on. Still just kind of grinding in the gym, trying to improve my health a little bit. Still working away on the diet. I went away on the weekend, which is why you didn't see some videos from me the last few days. I went away, and we've got TLC coming up this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. UK time. I haven't quite got it done yet as of right now, but I am pretty confident I'm going to have it ready to go for, the day. So tomorrow, pretty much on Friday, I'll try and get the whole show done. And I did a promo for it. There's currently one on the channel right now, so if you haven't already, make sure you do check that out. And I think I'll probably upload my second one. I made another one for Kevin Owens and Brock Lesnar, so it's just a little quick 50-second, 1 minute, minute or so, whatever it is. It's not that long, so I might upload that as well for you guys to preview before the show begins as well. But so TLC looks as though it's going to be all well and good. Probably going to be about 2 hours long. One of my shorter pay-per-views, to be honest with you. The matches, because the game is a little iffy on TLC matches and ladder matches and table matches, it's not so great in terms of length. The matches generally don't last too long, so a lot of the matches aren't as long as probably they normally are, so I guess that's why the pay-per-view is a little shorter than perhaps 2 hours 15, 2 hours 30 minutes is where I normally do end up going. So I don't mind. 2 hours is good. That's where I generally aim for, so it's good to actually hit 2 hours for once and not go overboard. So that's this weekend's plan anyway. That'll be my final episode of WWE 2K16 before WWE 2K17, which a lot of people keep on asking me about. Why? You're not going to get to WrestleMania before 2K17 starts? I know. I'm not trying to get there. I never have. So a lot of people have been, saying that to me. So hopefully that clears some of that up. And stay tuned for more of that. I'll be posting some more details on Twitter and Facebook and everything like that. And also on the website, BrendanPlays.com. If you're not aware on when it actually starts, head over to the website and there's a countdown timer on there that will show to you when the pay-per-view will start for your specific time zone. So that's TLC. That's this weekend. NXT TakeOver we did earlier on. We did that last week, which last weekend on Saturday. A lot of fun. Pretty good turnout. I didn't have that planned ahead in advance like I would have liked to. It was really a bit of a rush job. I didn't know if I was going to be there or not. I have a bit of a family emergency that I thought maybe I might have to go and not actually do the show live for and things like that. So it was a bit of a chaotic day. But we got there in the end. Everything was okay, and we got the pay-per-view done, and I think it turned out pretty good. So that's the end of NXT. We won't see NXT for a couple of months at least, and at least probably until we get WrestleMania done on Universe Mode. I think that probably will take 2 months or so, hopefully less, maybe 6 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully I can get WrestleMania done really quickly. Hopefully I can get the Royal Rumble done, next week or something like that. I'm hoping to get the first pay-per-view, out really early. Normally it takes me a month. This time I'm going to do, a couple episodes a day, get the Royal Rumble done. Try and get it done, maybe not this weekend, but at least next weekend. Maybe not even that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to try and get the Royal Rumble done ASAP and the pay-per-view after that. Still don't know what the pay-per-view after that's going to be. But, yeah, so we're going to be really working hard and get as much content as I can out for you guys. And hopefully you guys do enjoy that. But let's get into the wrestling news and chat today. There's actually a fair bit of little bits and pieces to chat about today. Not so much to talk about with SmackDown and Raw. In terms of which show is better this week, I have no idea. I feel like Raw may have been better. I don't really know, honestly, with you. The big title match at the end, and obviously the big change, women main eventing Raw was really cool. So maybe that was kind of specific enough and monumental enough to kind of give them the win. I don't know. SmackDown was pretty good at the same time. I really liked the Ziggler and Miz stuff, but I don't know. I'm a little torn. So you guys let me know in the comments below which show you thought was better. But at the end of the day, Raw got a better rating this week, which is good. They didn't have a bad rating last week, surprisingly, somehow. They kind of rebounded pretty decently. In terms of also this week, I didn't get a chance to watch Bound for Glory. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I mean, I heard some things that some people thought it was okay, some people thought it was good, some people thought it was bad. So very mixed reviews about it. Maybe if I get some spare time to kill, I might put it on and check it out. But I haven't had a chance to really watch it yet. I've read some of the spoilers for upcoming Impact shows. I'm not going to say anything in case you do watch TNA, but I will say that I'm scratching my head in some of the decisions that they are making. That's the thing that with TNA that just always blows my mind with some of their decisions that they make. It always confuses me why they do certain things, and that's another reason why I'm kind of scratching my head at the upcoming tapings. It's just another circumstance where I'm just going, what the hell? But yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch Bound for Glory, but there's a lot of TNA chat right now. I guess we'll kind of transition to that. And there's a few rumors right now that WWE has officially bought the tape library for TNA, and Billy Corgan has full ownership of the company, and he's going to rebrand it. Now, these are rumors. Other rumors, Dixie Carter's saying, "Oh no, we're all good. WWE hasn't bought anything," and I don't know what to believe, honestly. I guess until we see something set in stone, and until we see TNA on the WWE Network, who knows? But honestly, I think TNA, Billy Corgan buying it and rebranding it and starting completely fresh is 100% the right move. TNA as a brand has been tainted beyond recovery. I think a lot of wrestling fans aren't willing to give that a chance because of the the issues that they've had and all the decisions that they've made over the past few years. If a new company, even if it is a lot of the same people in it, if a new company came around, at the same level as TNA, maybe bigger, and kind of started afresh there, I think it has a legitimate chance to kind of to make a bit of a splash. I don't know. I think it's a good place for the guys and girls to work, and it's important that we still have that type of competition. But when they can't keep the lights on, that's a bit of an issue. So if things do happen, things are sold, and there's a new rebrand made, I'm going to give it a shot. I think I will check it out and give it a chance again, because I think that's what TNA has needed for such a long time. It just needs a fresh start and hit the reset button, start again. They've done that in the past when they've changed networks, but they haven't really ever changed anything. I guess going to the 4-sided ring and then changing back to the 6-sided ring, that's about the extent of what they did. Changing to Monday nights, trying to compete with WWE, was never going to work. They've made some really bad decisions, and I guess right now I've never seen TNA in more trouble than it's ever been. Like right now, I believe TNA is on its deathbed. Past years I've been like, there's no way TNA lasts the year. TNA's done. TNA's going to die surely. But somehow they just keep on going. But I really feel like this could be it. This could be the time where it is done. So if WWE does buy the tape library, that'll be cool. I mean, there's a lot of TNA footage that's really good. And for WWE, putting all that content on the network is going to make me happier, because I'm a network subscriber, so I've got a lot more content to watch of stuff that I never really watch, because, I've only seen probably 1 or 2 TNA pay-per-views, and that's, and there's a lot of stuff, certainly in the early 2000s, when Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Bobby Roode, James, all the TNA originals in there, and then you had Christian Cage coming in, and even some other notable names that might be some washed up guys, some older guys, but still there's some known names, and I don't know, I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty cool to check it all out. And so for me as a WWE Network subscriber, I kind of hope that WWE does purchase it so I can watch all that stuff. And also we can kind of fill in the pieces a little bit with all of AJ Styles' career, Bobby Roode's, when AJ Styles comes in, he's been around the world, but we'll only show 2 snippets of him in Ring of Honor in Japan in the last couple of years. So where has he been all this other time? I have no idea. Apparently, that never existed. That's been, well, no pun intended, but deleted. But, so it would be sad to see TNA go, but if there is a rebrand, I think that's for the best. If not, they just keep on going, then so be it. Look, they got a pretty decent roster there. Getting Cody Rhodes in there was good, or Cody, I should say. Aaron Rex, from what I heard, looks as though he's unmotivated. Damien Sandow looks as though he's unmotivated and doesn't really look that happy to be there. So I don't know if that's him personally not happy to be there, or that's just the environment that TNA is right now. I don't know. Because apparently when he won the championship, he had no emotion at all, just didn't care. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. So hopefully things can improve for TNA. They're doing good. The deletion, delete or decay stuff is cool. And they've probably been more interesting than they have been in a long time. So it'd be a shame to see them go. Another big rumor going around right now, Goldberg potentially returning at Survivor Series. He went on ESPN and said, look, he would like to have a match. He just doesn't know if it will hurt his legacy or not. He just want to hurt it. And he wants to see his son. He wants his son to see him have a match, blah, 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 blah. Look, Goldberg, he's not going to be the Goldberg of old. The Goldberg that would come in, he would just had this intensity, and he was kick ass, He was jacked up, built to the bricks, and it looked awesome. He was so cool. I'm a big fan of Goldberg. I haven't personally watched it when it happened, but I've gone back and watched it in WCW, watched him on Raw, and I really loved it. Goldberg to me was great. His WWE run was pretty bad, terrible booking. Obviously Triple H had it out for him a little bit, so he didn't really have it the way that we probably would have liked to see Goldberg have it. But I think another match would be cool. I don't know if I want to see him have a match, or if I want to see him that entrance hit, see him coming out from the backstage through to the arena and come out and spear someone. Just hit a freaking spear and destroy someone. And if that's all we get, I'd be happy. That's all I really need. Him having a match with Lesnar, trying to kind of rectify the past and give us the match that we deserve. I don't know. Goldberg wasn't that great of a worker in his day. And 13 years out of the ring? I don't know, 12 years out of the ring. I don't know if he's going to be any better. I'd say he'd be a hell of a lot worse. I know he's in pretty good shape, but I don't know if Goldberg and Lesnar would be the match that we want. Lesnar's matches as of last couple of years has just been suplex, F5, match over. So would they squash Goldberg like that? I don't think Goldberg would come back to lose like that. I don't even know if Goldberg would come back to lose at all. He'd have to lose, to be honest with you. The only real point to having him come back was to put over someone. And putting over Lesnar, I don't know if that's the best decision. Does Lesnar really need to be put over? It does tie into the video game, though. If they want to promote it around WWE 2K17, that'd be a good time to do it. One of the rumors is they want to kind of do that for Survivor Series because it's around about November, and that's the soonest time they can do it. So I would get that. And it is a match that we've seen in the past, and it's a bit of a match that we wouldn't mind seeing again. I kind of get it. I get why that would be his favourable opponent, and I wouldn't really see anyone else for him to verse. Ryback a few years ago would have made sense. Obviously, he's no longer in the company, so I have no idea. I guess Lesnar might be his only reasonable opponent. But I'm 50-50. I'm torn on if I want to see him again, as the fan of me does, but it will hurt his legacy. I think Goldberg just was so intense, physical, and menacing. He's an old man. He's 49 years old. He's not going to come back looking at anything like that. So he will be a shell of his former self. Coach compared his situation to Shane McMahon's on ESPN. I think it's pretty different because Shane McMahon wrestled kind of like a daredevil style and wasn't really much of a wrestler, just kind of a guy, got his ass kicked and did some crazy stunts. Shane McMahon can still kind of do the stunts. I don't know if Goldberg can still do Goldberg, and that's what Goldberg said on the interview as well. He doesn't know if he can still do Goldberg, so I don't know. I think Shane can still do Shane. I don't know if Goldberg can still do Goldberg, so it's a tough one, but I would still love to see him come back. Like I said, his entrance hit at a big pay-per-view, hit at WrestleMania, comes out, the big entrance, security guards all around him. I don't know, man, that would be fucking cool. Honestly, I would jump out of my seat for that. I would love to see that. But who knows? Other piece of news, Brie Bella, she is pregnant, so it looks as though any chances of her returning are completely done. Total Bella's also aired today, premiered. I did watch it, just to kind of check it out. To be honest with you, I do watch Total Divas. I don't mind it. The last few seasons have been pretty bad. Total Bella's not much better. I mean, it was all centered around John Cena looking like he's a lunatic. Cena, it's like, the worst person in the world to kind of live with, it seems like. Probably played up a little bit more, but I wouldn't surprise me to see it as like that. He seems like a grumpy guy who's so strict and set in his ways. It's, crazy. Doesn't seem like much fun to be around, but which is kind of surprising because you think Cena might be a pretty funny kind of guy, but when he's not in the mood, I guess he's not in the mood type of thing. So look, I don't know what to really tell you guys. The first episode was okay, I guess. It wasn't groundbreaking. Will I keep watching? Probably. I don't know. I think seeing the Daniel Bryan retirement thing and his emotions and feelings behind that, and even the Nikki Bella kind of recovery, and Cena recovery too, all that kind of thing. I like the behind-the-scenes type of stuff. I like the documentaries they do, and it's not quite a documentary. It's a reality show, but you still see a little bit of realism where they do some things, like Nikki Bella's fucking injured, like she can't walk around, kind of seeing what she had to go through, and Daniel Bryan's real reactions and emotions about his retirement. So there's certainly a few things that would keep my interest, but there's a few things there that certainly don't interest me. But, so would I recommend it? Probably not, but, if you're someone like me who's interested in maybe their lives, I guess, yeah, check it out. The stabbings of wrestlers. This week, Del Rio got stabbed. Jamie Noble got stabbed. Noble really badly stabbed. Crazy time to be, I guess any celebrity. Just goes to show how easy it is for someone to attack you. And I don't know, man. Like Jamie Noble cut someone off the road, and two guys come out and try to attack him and stab him. That's crazy. Like that could happen to anyone. That could happen to me tomorrow. Like that's unbelievable to think. Because everyone does get a bit of road rage. I mean, I've gotten angry at people on the road. A lot of people do get, road rage. Some people more than others, and that's, a certain example of that. Del Rio, not 100% sure what happened there. I think he just kind of got in an argument with someone or something like that, and he pulled out a knife or whatever, and Del Rio got stabbed a lot of times in his arm. He had the no-show AAA event because of it, which was certainly interesting. A lot of news. A lot of people thought, oh, is he going to turn up at Bound for Glory because he's in Orlando? Even I bought into that rumor a little bit. I kind of kept an eye on Twitter all night when Bound for Glory is on, just to make sure. But no, he didn't. He just actually got stabbed. So, I don't know. I want to know what's worse. But, yeah, it's crazy, and I hope both guys are okay. Roderick Strong is rumored to be signed in the WWE and might be turning up in the Dusty Rhodes Classic in NXT, which would be pretty cool. I don't know, I haven't really followed his career too much. I know of him. I haven't seen too many of his matches, but I think for the most part he'll be a decent little addition to NXT, which I think has been struggling for some names as of late. I certainly don't think Roderick Strong is much of a name, but he's a guy that could come in and make a small little splash, maybe. Certainly NXT, the quality of it has kind of really gone down. They are struggling in a few different areas, so he's someone that might come in and help out a little bit. I certainly think that the cruiserweights, a lot of them should be more on NXT, and they are generally kind of on the main roster in NXT a little bit. Having more of them on NXT, having a bit more of a presence in NXT, I think will certainly help out NXT for the short time being. Speaking of NXT, Sara Lee from Tough Enough is gone. No surprise. Rumor was that she's pregnant. I don't know if that... I heard some rumors that she was, and then she wasn't. It's just that she just wasn't doing, just sucked kind of thing. They just want to get rid of her. Whatever the rumor is, it doesn't matter. I said it a year ago on this show that I thought Sara Lee was not deserving of being a winner. I thought Sara Lee was the worst one out of the entire cast. I couldn't believe that she won. Didn't think she deserved it at all. I thought Mandy deserved it a hell of a lot more. And obviously, look at it right now. Mandy Rose in NXT. She's wrestling on the shows. Last week, she had a match. She got beat, but she had a match. Whereas Sara Lee, she can't make TV. And then she gets fired. So, I think Sara Lee should be lucky that she even got a contract. Same with ZZ. The two people that I just knew weren't cut out for this business. ZZ looked as though he was unmotivated. He was just wanting to be on a reality show rather than be a WWE wrestler. Had no passion. And Sara Lee, pretty much the same. Had no personality. Couldn't really bring anything out of her. Not much of an athlete at all. I guess they gave every chance for her to shine. They had a whole year with her, and she blew it. She wasn't good enough. They had to get rid of her. So, she had a $250,000 contract. $250,000 they spent on her. To cut her. That's pretty crazy, but it's just the way it goes. I mean, she just wasn't good enough, at the end of the day. So no real loss there. No real loss. Sign someone else. Use that money to give someone a pay rise that deserves it. Use that money to sign someone who is better, can actually, make it to the main roster, make it to the NXT roster, I should say. So, no loss at all. Also, the Royal Rumble has been planned to be in a big arena not this year, but early next year. The Royal Rumble will be in a big kind of football arena, I think it is, or, outdoor arena, whatever. That's great. I think WWE needs to do more big arenas. I think SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania should be big, massive arenas. Gives it such a cool feel. Obviously, it's a bit more difficult if you can't fill the arena, but being in Texas, a good wrestling town, San Antonio, I think it is, or Austin, whichever one. I think it's San Antonio. I have no idea. I'm not American. Don't shoot me. But I think the Royal Rumble will be pretty crazy if they're going to try and sell out 50, 60,000 tickets. Already rumors that The Undertaker might show up. Shawn Michaels might come in, Stone Cold. So it looks like they're going to, really load it up. Maybe even Goldberg comes out in the Rumble. That's the thing. That's probably a perfect thing for Goldberg. Let him come out in the Royal Rumble. That's what I would like to see. Have him come out, spear a few guys in the Rumble, throw a few over the top rope, last 5 minutes, and then get eliminated by someone. Get eliminated by a young guy coming through, whether it be a Rusev, maybe fucking Baron Corbin, a young heel coming through, give him a bit of heat while eliminating Goldberg. That's the way to do it. That's where you should see something like that happen. And I think that would be awesome. And so we might see some big legends coming in and some big returns, which would be pretty cool. So hopefully the Royal Rumble is awesome this year. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be. All right, so Monday Night Raw this week. We haven't even talked about Raw yet. We're already nearly 30 minutes in. So we've got plenty of news this week. Monday Night Raw this week. Not a lot to really say. I want to talk about the women's main eventing Monday Night Raw with Sasha Banks winning the championship. Surprised that it was the main event, but I guess when you look at the card, what else really could have been? I think it was a good decision at the end of the... I mean, I guess the New Day and Jericho could have main evented, but I think the right decision was to let the women do it. It's a good time. The feud is going well. Sasha Banks and Charlotte getting good reactions. I think people are generally invested in the feud. Bayley taking out Dana Brooke beforehand, I guess, was a surefire sign that Sasha might win, or something, fair was going to go down at least. So there would be a fair, rightful winner. I unfortunately had the match spoiled for me. I couldn't watch Raw live. I was on the road at the time, so I didn't have a chance to watch Raw live. But unfortunately the match was spoiled to me, so I already knew who won. But still, it was a good match, fun match, great moment. Sasha Banks winning back the championship. I had a feeling that Sasha was going to win at Clash of Champions. So I was surprised that Charlotte held onto it. But I knew that Sasha Banks was probably going to win the championship back once they had a bit more faith in her, that her injury wasn't as bad as they seemed. So once they kind of learned of that, they were a bit more, reluctant and happy to give her the championship. I don't know if women will ever main event a pay-per-view. I think main eventing Raw is about as far as we're going to get for quite some time. There's a little bit of pressure for SmackDown to kind of have a women's main event now, I guess. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think it has to be the right time, the right people, the right feud. Sasha Banks and Charlotte are two of the best women the WWE's had in a long time. Charlotte, when they say she might be one of the greatest women of all time, honestly, they're not wrong. I mean, she's got a little bit more to prove yet, but I think when it's all said and done, if she's around for another good 5 years at least, she might go down as one of the best. She could go down as a Hall of Famer. She's great promo. She's believable in the ring, on the mic, and she's a good in-ring talent. Obviously, has the family history behind her. She's kind of got it all, hasn't she? So I think Charlotte is great, but it is obviously time for her to chase the championship, be away from the title picture for a little bit, and bring someone in fresh, and that's Sasha Banks, and I think that's the right call. But yeah, great match, and looking forward to seeing what happens next. I mean, Hell in a Cell's coming up. Did they announce that the women are going to be in a Hell in a Cell match? I think I heard that right. I could be wrong, but I think I heard the women are going to have the first of a Hell in a Cell match. If that's the case, that is monumental. Obviously, Hell in a Cell is a hell of a lot different to what it is, to what it was, even 10 years ago when, guys would be bleeding like a pig, getting launched into the cage all the time, smacked around with weapons. sometimes even getting thrown off the cage. So I don't think it's going to go to that extremity, but I don't even know if they really will use weapons. WWE doesn't really allow women to use steel chairs or even ladders or tables. Maybe they'll get thrown into the cage a little bit. I don't know. Maybe they'll just bring it. Maybe they'll just go all out and first one ever and just have a crazy match. I would not be against it. It would make sense, get rid of Dana Brooke, have a huge Hell in a Cell match. I'd be all for it. I think it'd be fantastic. But, look, I think it's a step in the right direction for women. I mean, the women's revolution was a complete failure. But I think really right now we are seeing a genuine women's, I don't know if a revolution, but we are seeing genuine change in the women's division. On both brands. SmackDown's doing pretty good with the women, getting a good spotlight every week. Raw's doing pretty well. So I think the women are doing pretty good. I think they are lacking women on the roster for both brands. I think both brands need probably 2 or 3 more each. And then I think you'll start to see a bit more of a balanced, women's division. But for the most part, the women are doing quite well. Speaking of doing quite well, a bit of a turnaround this week for the Cruiserweights. TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick had a good match. Really, really enjoyed it. Probably one of my highlights of Raw, to be honest with you. I actually had a lot of fun with that match. I liked the video packages heading into it. That kind of got my interest, kind of built it up for a little bit for me. So I like what they did there. And I thought they had a great match and a good reaction for both. I know it was TJ Perkins' hometown, I think, and I think Kendrick's from California as well. But I think both guys got a pretty good reaction, much better than recent times. And like I've said in the last few shows, we just have to give it time. Cruiserweights, this is all new people. Brand new people, we just have to give them a chance. Give them time to really shine. Give them time to develop. Give them time to get comfortable. Because a lot of these guys have been plucked out of the independents and just thrown straight into Raw without really that much experience on NXT, which a lot of guys are sitting in NXT for a year, get used to being on NXT, get used to all the, the cameras and things like that and the WWE style. These Cruiserweights have just had 10 weeks in the Cruiserweight Classic, a few appearances at NXT, and now just thrown straight on Raw. That's a big thing, to kind of big transition. So a lot of these guys will get lost for a month or two, but then they'll start to get comfortable, then they'll start to find their right, and then I think that we'll start to see much better improvement in the Cruiserweight division. So we just have to hope that, 1, the fans don't give up on the Cruiserweights, and 2, the WWE doesn't give up on the Cruiserweights. Because I think the Cruiserweights is exactly what Raw needs to really spice the show. And I think the Cruiserweights is exactly what Raw needs to make something different, make Raw feel different. I still feel as though the Cruiserweights was probably a better fit for SmackDown, but nonetheless, I think the Cruiserweights, we just have to give it a chance, and it will shine. The question is right now, though, is TJ Perkins the right guy to be champion? I'm probably going to say no. I think Brian Kendrick probably would be the right champion. I say that because, Kendrick already established as a heel. Perkins is a face, Grand Metalik a face, Cedric Alexander's a face, Rich Swann is a face, and to me, those guys I just mentioned are at the top of the division. I really like Tony Nese. I like what I saw of him on Raw this week. I think he's one guy to watch out for. Good physique for a Cruiserweight. Still think they should add a few guys from the current roster, like a Neville, who's just, fading away on Superstars every week. Still think he should have some kind of role to play in the Cruiserweight division. So a few guys like that, you pluck them in and give them a bit more star power, and also a few known names would really help. But for the most part, a lot of strong baby faces, they're still kind of working their heels up. Drew Gulak still has a bit more work to do to get over the fans. Tony Nese as well. So whilst they have a great heel in Kendrick, if Kendrick loses, then who? Then who steps up? I don't know. Do they want to have a babyface versus babyface? I don't know. So, to me, if Kendrick wins, he's got a plethora of guys that he can feud with compared to Perkins. I still think probably the right call would have been a heel to win the overall thing. I don't know. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, for the Cruiserweight tournament itself, I don't think they probably planned to have a title win at the end of it. I think that was a bit of a last-minute decision when they decided, okay, we're going to do this brand split and we're going to bring him up to the main roster. So I think that was probably a bit of a last-minute decision to have a championship as well. And I don't think Perkins was the first choice. I think probably Ibushi, maybe Zack Sabre. Don't think Grand Metalik was ever one, but I think Grand Metalik probably impressed them enough to keep them going. So I don't think Perkins was their first choice or anything like that. So I guess having a babyface win the tournament was good, But when it transpires and transfers into Monday Night Raw, is it the best decision? Probably not. But so maybe Perkins does lose to Kendrick for the championship. I heard it's going to be a championship match. Then they kind of changed it to a non-title. So maybe they're going to change save the title switch for the next pay-per-view. Maybe Hell in a Cell. So I think Kendrick will be the right champion, just so he can have a lot more new opponents to face, and kind of also he's a bit more of a notable name. He can kind of help establish the division whilst you build up the other guys as well. And I think the Cruiserweight title itself will be thrown around between a lot of guys early on anyways. I think we're going to see 4 or 5 champions before WrestleMania maybe, and that's not that far away. So that's my opinion anyways. WWE pushing Gallows and Anderson again, it seems. Well, they give him a win over Golden Truth, built him up with a promo package, I believe. I mean, you just have them lose to New Day time and time and time again. Then now all of a sudden you're going to give them a big win and kind of take them serious again. I'm scratching my head. I'm kind of thinking, what the hell is going on? Have they realized that we have no other tag teams to kind of feud with the New Day? Oh shit, we need to kind of build up Gallows and Anderson again. I don't know. I'm not going to touch that subject. Just thought I would bring that up. And I am just confused about that. And finally for Raw, Emmalina. Now, I actually missed this when I was watching Raw. I don't know if I just kind of blinked and I missed it. But Emmalina. So they're going to bring back Emma, which I believe is a fantastic decision. Emma, when she got injured, I felt as though, before she got injured, she was on the verge of really breaking through finally on the main roster and becoming one of the top heels on Raw. So now she's going to be coming back as Emmalina, which I don't think a name change really needed to happen. I guess a name change, Emma doesn't really scream bad, like a bad girl, but I don't know if Emmalina does either. Maybe they're trying to think, play off the Melina type name. Maybe think, that might, I don't know. Maybe they feel like that's a better name for a heel. I don't know, but I think Emma coming back is great. I really believe that she might be the missing link in the Raw Women's Division because, once Sasha beats Charlotte again, which she will probably, she's only got Bayley, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke to kind of feud with. They're going to save the Bayley thing for later. Dana Brooke, she's already beaten a number of times. Really, it's only kind of Nia Jax. Alicia Fox, not really in title picture. Summer Rae, still injured. Emma would kind of be the perfect person to kind of slot in there and kind of fill some time. So I think that's a good call to bring her in, bring her back now, and give her this new gimmick, this repackaged. And I gotta say, in that promo package, the vignette they showed, she is looking really, really good. I mean, a couple of years ago when I saw her come out with Santino, didn't think of much of her at all. Didn't think she was that attractive at all. But now, she is really looking good. I saw her in person when she came to Australia a couple of years ago. And like I said, right then, I didn't really think much of it. But when I saw her in person, that's when I went, holy shit, this woman actually is smoking hot. That's when I finally realized when I saw her in person. So, kind of crazy that happens, but so she's looking good, and I think she's going to have a big part to play in the Raw Women's Division. I think that's a great person to kind of bring back right now to freshen things up, so looking forward to that. Quickly get through SmackDown as well. Highlight for me, Spirit Squad coming back and attacking Ziggler and that whole Ziggler and Miz storyline. I am loving that. That's probably my most enjoyable storyline right now. One of the better storylines in a long time for SmackDown and for WWE in general, because it's really playing on real life stuff. Ziggler's been struggling for years. Does he? Is it time for him to retire? A lot of rumors that are going around that he actually may be retiring. So I don't even know if he's going to win or if he's going to lose. I honestly have no idea. And the Miz has been such a great heel. He's really working well. He and Ziggler back and forth is phenomenal. Really, really good stuff. And bringing back the Spirit Squad, minus 2 guys. Apparently one of them is in Israel or something. He's completely out of the business. And the other one has a regular job and he couldn't get time off to come and do it or something like that. I don't know. But, bringing back, I think Mikey and Kenny Dykstra was kind of cool. And, that was a good little spot there and kind of a nice little reminder of a little flashback of Ziggler's career. So I like what they did there. That was a good segment. And it came up pretty well. I don't think this is going to be a long-term thing. I think that was just basically a one and done for the Spirit Squad. So if you're expecting them to bring the Spirit Squad back, in terms of them kind of the jokes and what they were saying and shaking around, it was pretty awful, to be honest with you. But, for the point and the purpose of it, it was okay. Triple threat match promo at the end of the show was really good. Hyped up to see this triple threat. This is going to be a great match. Only issue I have is just the 2-week turnaround for pay-per-views is just so draining. We're going to talk about No Mercy in a moment, but it's just, if you blink and there's another pay-per-view coming around, right around the corner. So it's getting a little ridiculous with the pay-per-views and their schedule. I think 3 weeks is the sweet spot. 2 weeks is just a little bit much, in my opinion. But I get it. They want to, 2 weeks, 2 pay-per-views a month, try and, make some exposure. And finally, I know a lot of people have mixed opinions on the Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton thing. I gotta say, though, I enjoyed it. I enjoy what they're doing there, kind of playing a bit of mind games with each other. Don't think it necessarily builds up towards their match, so to say, so well. But, it's kind of intriguing me. We'll see. I think Bray Wyatt really needs a win, though. He lost again to Kane. I think, was it DQ or count out or whatever it was? Bray Wyatt really needs a fucking win. Like, he's just a guy who I feel like could be dead in the water at any minute. I feel like Orton's going to win, though. And that's not going to be good at all for Bray Wyatt. And his fans, well, sorry to say, it's not looking good for Bray. Alright, speaking of No Mercy, let's get into our pay-per-view predictions right now. We're going to start off with the pre-show. Jack Swagger versus Baron Corbin. I think Baron Corbin's going to win this. I don't think this whole new Jack Swagger returning, switching brands or anything like that is really going to change much for Jack. I think Baron Corbin's still the guy they see some kind of money in and going to keep pushing him. So Corbin to win that for me. Kurt Hawkins is going to verse probably a nobody, probably a local talent. Honestly, I couldn't give a shit. Kurt Hawkins, this gimmick is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. This is just terrible. I can't say one positive thing. Never liked Kurt Hawkins to begin with, and this gimmick is just so bad. I hope it just dies in 2 weeks. I really do. I hope he has one match at the pay-per-view, maybe another one on SmackDown just to see, if it was just one bad night, and then he's down working main event the next week. I really do. He sucks. Nikki Bella versus Carmella. Carmella's been beating up Nikki Bella every single week. You'd have to say Nikki Bella's finally going to get her win and get her revenge, which is not such a bad thing. You probably think, well, that's not going to help Carmella out at all. But Carmella's got the upper hand and beat Nikki Bella a number of times already. For the storyline's sake, Nikki Bella needs to get this win, for her own sake as well, to kind of keep her credibility. And I guess for the storyline, the rightful winner should be Nikki Bella to get her revenge. Orton versus Bray, we just kind of talked about it a moment ago. I think Randy Orton's going to win that. The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, title versus career. Look, I still gonna say Ziggler's gonna win. I don't know if Ziggler's gonna retire. A lot of rumors that he might be going into more stand-up. A lot of rumors that he might be getting a job on Fox Business. I have no idea. I hope Ziggler doesn't retire because he's just been built up so much this last few months. For him just to go away would be a huge loss for SmackDown. And I've been really enjoying what he's been doing with The Miz. But in saying that, The Miz's title reign has been so good as of the last couple of months since the brand split, I really don't want it to end. So I'm really torn. I don't know. I don't know who I want to win that match. I'd be probably happy either way. But I don't really want Ziggler to leave. I think Ziggler should stick around. I kind of said it like a year ago on the show that I really thought Ziggler was going to be leaving this year. But he didn't leave this year, and I thought maybe next year might be the year. So maybe it is Ziggler's time. Maybe he's going to call it a day. Maybe he is ready to walk away. I don't know. But that's one match that I'm definitely going to be having my eyes glued to the TV. That's going to be a really, really good one. Heath Slater and Rhino versus the Usos for the tag titles. Heath Slater and Rhino haven't had many segments the last few weeks. They've kind of been cooled down a little bit. Hasn't been as entertaining, which I think has been a big mistake. They've really been pushing and really working on the Usos, building them up. American Alpha to a lesser extent as well, whereas Slater and Rhino have taken a bit of a back seat. So I feel like they've lost a bit of steam compared to what they had a month ago when they won the titles. So I definitely could see the Usos getting the win. They've been really on fire, really doing well since their heel turn, and I think they're probably the rightful winners here. Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. I think Becky Lynch should win. I think she should be the spearhead of the division for at least until WrestleMania. Have her lose the title maybe at WrestleMania to an upcoming woman like Alexa Bliss, but I think Alexa Bliss is probably too new, not over enough yet. They need to kind of spend a little bit more time with her, building her up before she gets the title. And finally, the main event, Styles versus Ambrose versus Cena. Now, a lot of people think Cena's going to get his 16th title, 16th world title. I think if they're going to do the 16th world title, it's going to happen at a bigger show, not No Mercy. So, and the rumor is right now, Cena's going to be taking time off until maybe nearly the end of the year. He's got a new show, he's going to go film, so he's going to take 2 months off. So there's no way they're going to give him the title and have him lose it in a couple weeks' time. Surely not. So I think Cena's going to probably not lose. I think Ambrose will be the one to get pinned. Because I think Cena's been pinned enough recently. But you never know, Cena's losing a little bit lately. Ambrose, apparently he might be filming a new movie as well. So both of these guys could be out of action for a bit. So I think AJ Styles is the rightful champ. Even though the ratings have declined, AJ Styles is still one of the most entertaining guys on the show and a deserving champion. Let's see how he goes with the title. Putting on great matches, putting on great promos. Ratings might not be there, but I don't think you could give the belt to anyone and it would really boost the ratings. So I think it's okay to keep the title on Styles, and I think AJ Styles is a great champion so far. So to me, Styles will win this one, and if Cena does go away and Ambrose does go away, it looks as though probably Randy Orton will step in to take on Styles afterwards, and that rivalry would, to me, be awesome. I really would look forward to that as well. So that's my pay-per-view predictions, and let me know what you guys are thinking about No Mercy. I think the card looks pretty solid. I'm going to say probably Clash of Champions look as though it's a little stronger, but 2 big matches there, Styles, Ambrose, and Cena. That's going to be really, really good. The Miz and Ziggler should be fun. Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt could surprise us. That could be good. And even the women's match and the tag match could be pretty decent as well. So we'll see. Looking as though it should be a good show. And I would probably dare say it might only be 2.5 hours long. It looks as though SmackDown's getting less time for their pay-per-views as well, which is certainly interesting, to say the least. Alrighty, so in this week, we have got our hands on Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. And I tell you what, been playing the campaign, and I'm loving it. I never got a chance to play the campaign. So to finally get a chance to play a bit of an old-school style COD campaign, I really love the Modern Warfare campaigns. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, fantastic campaigns. Even Ghost was pretty good as well. So Infinity Ward has made some fantastic campaigns, and to play Call of Duty 4's campaign has been so much fun. Really, really, really enjoying it. The graphics are actually really good. It's crazy. Like, this is probably one of the better remasters I've ever seen in terms of, taking a game that's nearly 10 years old and giving it a facelift and bringing it into the next generation. It really does look like a PS4 game, and I'm really, really enjoying what I'm playing. I cannot wait to play the multiplayer. So much fun. I got FIFA 17 last week. I haven't played too much of it, to be honest with you. I don't know. I just haven't had too much desire to play a little bit. I have played the Journey. I haven't played all of it, but I have certainly enjoyed the Journey. I think that's a good addition. So if I'm going to go back and play FIFA, it might be that. And I want to get Mafia 3, but I feel like I'm not going to have any time to play Mafia 3 for a couple months, because I feel like I'm going to be so busy on W2K, and then Battlefield 1, and then Call of Duty 4 Remastered. So some of these other games that I'm super, super looking forward to. Forza Horizon 3 as well. That game's set in Australia. That's like, you can race in a part of the game that I, go to all the time. That's awesome. So I really want that game as well. So there's a lot of games I really want. I want the new Tomb Raider again, but I just gotta wait. Just gotta wait it out. Just have to wait and get the games when the time is right. I still have so many games on the back burner from last year and even the year before that I never got around to finishing. So gotta find the time. The thing is, at end of November, midway November, all the way through to March, I have that time off. Not in terms of YouTube or anything like that. And I will be starting, probably a new business around then as well. So I've got some crazy things I'll be working on. But I will be off university for that time. So I will have a lot of time to game. And I'm really looking forward to that spare time to really sit down, play my games, finish them up, and really kick back and enjoy. So that's the time that I'm looking forward to right now. I'm just going to keep doing the videos, keep playing WWE, and you know, play what I can here and there, like I did with the campaign of Remastered. Alright, so we have some questions this week, so we're going to get straight into them for you guys. And of course, if you want to leave a question, please do so by heading over to the website, brendanplays.com, and leaving a voicemail. Head to the forums, brendanplays.com/forums. Leave a question there. Facebook page, Brendan Plays Official is our Facebook page, and also in the YouTube comment section. Let's get straight into the questions.
Hey, Brendan, I was wondering if you're going to update to the Universal Championship on Raw and move the WWE World Championship to SmackDown, and also update the Raw and SmackDown arenas in your new WWE 2K17 Universe mode. Love your videos, man. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be updating the championships. The thing is, I'm going to do it when the time is right. I think the SmackDown Championship, I'll probably update straight away. There won't be a Women's Championship for SmackDown. I'm just going to keep it as one championship between the two brands. I have no interest in doing a brand split for the women. The Universal Championship, it's a little bit of a tricky one because it should be on Raw. And the Raw Championship currently is the championship that probably needs to be on SmackDown. So I would have to do a championship switch. And that would be a little bit difficult to do. I have a plan in mind, but it's going to take some time. So there will be the Universal Championship. It just won't be for a little bit of time. And the Cruiserweight Championship, I will be bringing that back, and we'll bringing that in when I bring back NXT, and I will have the Cruiserweights as the secondary championship for NXT when that comes back, and that I think should be pretty cool. So that's the plans right now, and I know a lot of people have been asking me that, so hopefully that clears that up a little bit, and hopefully you're okay with that. This next one is from Johnny Dixon. Hey Brendan, who do you think will be the next big call-up and upcoming star from NXT? Also, if you could choose one wrestler from Raw and SmackDown to push, who would you choose? Preferably someone who is currently being overlooked. The next big call-up from NXT, look, it's probably going to be Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, maybe Asuka, probably the two that I see. You know, maybe Austin Aries is not quite doing all that much. He might get a chance to go up soon. That's just my current picks. But looking at the roster right now, I think a new tag team would probably be best. So I could probably see the Revival dropping the championships at TakeOver and them moving up in the future. So for singles-wise, I probably think Joe for the men, maybe Asuka for the women, and for the tag team, probably the Revival. So there's a few. And also for Raw, I would push Cesaro. I know he's going to get in around the tag team thing, but I would definitely give him a singles push. And I know that's a very common answer, but it's still, it has to be said. Cesaro is fantastic. For SmackDown, Apollo Crews. I'm a big fan of Apollo Crews. He's someone who, not even on the show anymore. I can't believe that. I like Apollo Crews, so I'd hope he gets a little bit more. From Thomas Speller, what women's division do you think is better in WWE right now? In terms of star power, it's definitely Raw, but in terms of the future, I think it's SmackDown. SmackDown has got a core group of women, and they're currently slowly building them all up. They're turning Carmella into more of a top woman in the division. They're establishing Alexa Bliss more highly, so they've created two new stars. Well, they're on the beginning to create two new stars in that division already. Whereas Raw, they've taken Charlotte, who's established, Sasha Banks, who's established, Bayley, who they haven't done that much with yet, but she was already pretty much established in NXT, haven't really progressed that much since coming to Raw. So they're taking established women and kind of using that already on their show. They're doing well with Nia Jax, I will say, but she hasn't really beaten anyone besides Alicia Fox that credible yet. So the jury's still out on that one. So you'd have to say in terms of star power, definitely Raw. They've got all the big names in their division. But in terms of creating more stars and using different people and really making it probably more interesting, it's SmackDown. So it's certainly, you can look at it either way and kind of argue for one. But I'll probably say right now, which division would I rather watch? I'd probably rather watch Raw's. Cameron Fox, if you were a WWE booker, how would you book John Cena for the next 12 months? Well, Cameron, I'm not going to say for the next 12 months, but I will just give a few points. I think John Cena's going to be used as more of an attraction. He's kind of been a little bit in and out as of late with injury, filming stuff, and just kind of, out of storylines. So he has been used a little bit better as of late. This build up towards No Mercy is something something I definitely think that they've done well with. With Backlash, he wasn't on the show, I believe, or, he wasn't really doing much beforehand. So they kind of left him off TV for a bit, bring him back, and, when he comes back, it means a little bit more. So he's going to be a little bit in and out. So I use him as more of like an attraction, and as a guy who works in the main event, not necessarily is the guy, but certainly working with all the younger talent, putting over a few more guys, and just kind of probably will get a world title run again at some point, get that 16 title run, but have him just kind of be as the guy that you need to beat to really make it in the WWE. Kind of, I don't know if he's going to be better than world title, but just kind of like that legend that people need to get through or want to beat or prove themselves against. This one's from Amide Borisay. Sorry if I butchered your name. Is Sheamus still in your shit list? Look, I've enjoyed a Sheamus a little bit more recently. I think I like this dynamic with Cesaro. I don't mind that. The best of 7. The first 2 matches are pretty shitty, but he redeemed himself for me in the 7th match. I really enjoyed the 7th. So, whilst Sheamus still grinds my gears a little bit, still not the guy that I would love to tune in every week for, I haven't really hated him or wanted to change the channel when he's on. So, I guess no. I guess he may have, fallen off the shit list. Alfonso Romero, what's your favorite movie genre? That's a tough one because I love comedies, but there has been so few good comedies in recent years that it's hard to kind of really say that's my favorite. Action movies, I love action movies as well, but I really like a good thriller. I watched 10 Cloverfield Lane yesterday, and I fucking loved the movie until the ending. Like, the movie where it was like a fallout situation. Has the world ended? Is this guy a crazy guy, or is he, actually telling the truth? Is she in danger? Is she not? That mystery behind it kind of kept me on the edge of the seat. And then, spoiler alert, they had fucking aliens come out and just ruin the whole show at the end. The whole movie at the end. And that just absolutely pissed me off. So, I like a good thriller, but I also love action comedies. So I don't know if I have a favorite, but those are my 3 that I generally like to watch. Not a huge horror guy. I watched, I think it's the latest Paranormal Activity on the weekend as well. And normally I hate Paranormal Activity, but that one was actually pretty good. So I didn't mind that. But yeah, I'm not really much of a horror guy. What are the other genres? Romance or anything like that. Not really for me. But yeah, so probably my go-to is generally comedy. If I can't find anything funny, then I probably will go to action. Then I'll probably go to thriller. Roy the Boy, do you think that Kota Ibushi will go to NXT before going to Raw? Well, it just depends. Can they get him? How long is it going to take for him to sign to a full-time contract? He's working the NXT, the Dusty Rhodes Classic right now, but he's still not on a full-time permanent deal, so who knows? If they can get him to a written deal, I think he will be on Raw, joining that Cruiserweight division, which I think he would be phenomenal in. I think Kota Ibushi was the guy I thought was going to win the Cruiserweight Classic. It didn't happen. So I think he probably will go to Raw. But him working some NXT dates, I think will be a very good thing for him to get kind of accustomed to it. So I think him working more NXT, the better, than moving him up to Raw. Thomas Speller, where do you see Braun Strowman going now he wants a real competition? Now that he wants real competition. I don't know who they're going to bring out. I was actually really intrigued by that. I was hoping that someone might come out and step up to the plate. I probably see it as A, Mark Henry, B, Big Show. Yeah, that's probably about it. I think probably one of those 2 guys will probably come out and face him next week. And a guy who can match up in size, and Braun Strowman will probably beat him anyways. I mean, who else could they really bring out? I mean, Jinder Mahal, bring him out. I'm going to fight you, Braun, and gets beat in a minute. I don't know. It's probably got to be Big Show or Mark Henry. Someone, big, tough. Maybe they do the unthinkable and they bring out Luke Harper. Luke Harper comes back versus his former Wyatt family brother. I don't want to see Luke Harper on Raw. I want to see him on SmackDown with Eric Rowan, who apparently I think got injured as well. It might be out for 6 months, which is just dreadful timing as well. So maybe Luke Harper will come back to Raw. So maybe next week it could be Luke Harper to come back and face Braun Strowman and start that feud. If that's the case, I'm all for that. That's cool. Now, if Eric Rowan is injured, then fine. Bring him back to Raw. Ping Pong Panther, here's a question for next week's show. Here we go. Did you watch the NRL and AFL Grand Final? If you did, what was your thoughts? I watched the NRL Grand Final because I'm a huge rugby league fan. I'm a Dragons supporter, so I watched the last quarter, thereabouts, of the AFL Grand Final, and it was pretty thrilling. I was actually on the edge of my seat. I'm not an AFL fan at all. I don't care about AFL at all, but it was pretty cool. That AFL Grand Final was actually pretty good. I actually really enjoyed the bits that I saw. NRL, really good match as well. I was very happy that the Sharks won. I'm not a Storm fan at all. I don't like the Sharks generally, but I think the Sharks winning and getting that fairy tale win was great. Same with the AFL. Kind of a bit of a fairy tale weekend, wasn't it, with sport? So seeing the two teams that haven't won it in so long, over 50 plus years, to finally win it for the Sharks for the first time was fantastic. And I think that was the right thing to happen. So I'm very happy with that. It was a pretty similar circumstance. The Swans have been so good for so many years. The Storm been so good for so many years. Two powerhouse teams versus two teams who just desperately finally want to win one. Two very similar storylines, and two of the same winners. So I think it was a lot of fun. Really, really good. Also, I don't know. I know most of you guys won't really care, but the NBL, which is the Australian Basketball League, finally came back today. The Brisbane Bullets, my team, they played their first game in over 8 years. They're finally back in the competition, and they got a win. So I'm very excited, very pumped about that. So any of you Aussies out there, very excited to see the NBL. I will be doing some, probably some vlogs. I'm going to go to an NBL game in a couple of weeks' time, and I might vlog that. That'll be pretty cool. This one is from Stanley on Joko. What is the best movie you've ever watched? I mean, I don't know. I can't really put a finger on it. I really like the gangster mob type movies. Goodfellas, Casino. I haven't watched The Godfather. I need to watch that. And Scarface. I need to watch that. Like, there's a lot of movies that I feel like could be some of the best movies ever that I haven't watched, and it's on my to-watch list. So when I say what's the best movie I ever watched, I feel like a movie that I've watched... I've watched so many movies that I couldn't probably remember it and probably say one. It's so hard to say what's the best movie ever, but I always think like the mob movies that I've watched are some of the best like I've ever seen. So I maybe say Goodfellas. I don't know, but yeah. Next question is from Roy the Boy. Do you think that Rusev looks weak now because Roman Reigns always gets the upper hand over him when they brawl or face each other? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Rusev generally, looks good, then Roman Reigns finally gets the last laugh. It'd be good if Rusev does get the last say, maybe gets a win over Roman Reigns to restore some credibility. I get it, they really want to build Roman Reigns up as the US champion. Rusev, fortunately, is the sacrifice for that. But they need to kind of keep Rusev looking strong, heading in towards this Roman Reigns feud and match that they're going to have. But they're starting off Raw, it seems as though, with Rusev and Reigns the last couple of weeks. So that's certainly an interesting decision. But, I'm not against it. I mean, Roman Reigns so far as champ's okay. Rusev, I was enjoying his US title run. But I think maybe Rusev needs to have a few matches against some other people and beat them and get some wins, get some more momentum, then come after Roman Reigns at the pay-per-view. So next week, I would be having Rusev versus someone else, and maybe a Jinder Mahal or some idiot, like that, and beat them up and then move on to Roman Reigns again soon. Another one from Roy the Boy. Who do you think will be the next contender for the Cruiserweight Championship once TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick feud is over? We kind of touched on this earlier. I don't know. I mean, I think as it stands right now, it looks as though Rich Swann is getting a bit of a push, as is Tony Nese. I thought Cedric Alexander might be the guy, or Grand Metalik, but Grand Metalik's still working some dates. He's still finishing up elsewhere, so he won't be in the fold for a bit. So to me, it might be, if let's say TJ Perkins wins, it might be Tony Nese, and if Brian Kendrick wins, it might be Cedric Alexander or Rich Swann. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the last question of today's show comes from Cameron Fox. He wants to know, how do you feel about the women's title being potatoed, basically being, swapped around between Charlotte and Sasha Banks. Look, I'm not against it. I think I can understand the decision they made to drop the championship of Sasha Banks when they did. You know, they thought she was going to be injured for the next 6 weeks. They thought she was going to be out. They had to make that decision. That was the right call. And I understand Charlotte losing it back to Sasha Banks because they realized, okay, she's not going to be injured. And Charlotte's been champion for so long, you know, all right, it's still time for her to drop the championship. And it kind of keeps the storyline interesting, and I don't mind it at all. I think this is a great rivalry. It's going to go down as one of the better women's rivalries we've seen, for sure. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing the finale of it, if it is the finale at Hell in a Cell. And I think that'll be an exciting match. So I'm not really against it. I think it is time after this next match to kind of bring someone in different, whether that is Emma, whether that is Nia Jax, or Bayley, whoever you want to bring in. I think it's time then. So it should be some interesting times ahead. Something different coming for the women, no doubt about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this week's edition of the LTT Podcast. Again, not sure if there will be an episode next week. Basically, if only something major goes down, and if it is, it might be even a shorter show. I don't know. I just still feel like I'm going to be so busy with WWE 2K17 content that I just don't want to try and rush a podcast in. And I don't like doing a podcast and then like not promoting it, just too busy working on other things. I like to do a podcast, and that's my video of the day, and you guys can sit back and watch the podcast, or listen to the podcast, and enjoy that. So, probably 85% chance no video, no podcast next week. I do apologize for that, but you guys understand why. But we'll be back in a fortnight's time with more LTT goodness. And, of course, if you want to leave a question, you can do so for next week's or the week after's episode. It doesn't matter. We'll try and get to them. I know some of them might be out of date, but you know where to leave them. And also, make sure you check out my WWE 2K17 content coming up beginning on Tuesday, the 11th of October. Lots of great stuff coming up. Universe mode, career mode. You name it, we're going to be doing it. It's going to be really, really crazy. Lots and lots of videos coming out, so make sure you stay tuning for that. And again, TLC this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. UK time. Do not miss it live. It'll be available after the pay-per-view is live. It'll be available to watch on YouTube, of course. We're going to be live on YouTube and on Twitch, so please do make sure you can be there for the final pay-per-view on 2K16. And then we're going to start with W2K17 the night after TLC. It's going to be awesome. Do not miss it. Thanks, guys, for listening to this week's edition of the LTT Podcast, and I'll see you all maybe next week, if not in a fortnight's time.